All right, everyone. Welcome back to Psych Word. You are now on the couch with Rob Gerard. And on the line right now, we have 2013 Miss USA, Erin Brady. Erin, how you doing?
I'm wonderful. How are you? Thank you so much for having me on.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have you on. And we have my co-host, Diana Giordano, also on the phone.
Hey there.
So, Erin, I mean, you are from Connecticut, Miss USA, representing Connecticut. Awesome.
Thank you so much. I know. I feel actually really cool, especially now that I'm back here in the state for good, which is always a great thing. The first girl ever in 63 years to bring a Connecticut crown home, which is a pretty cool accomplishment. I'm happy to say that I represented this awesome state of Connecticut.
And
Absolutely.
you actually just gave up your what is it, a crown? What is it, a tiara?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. I just gave up the crown actually just about 2 months ago to Miss Nevada, who's the current Miss USA.
So when you went to go give it to her, were you like kind of like clutching it and you guys were like wrestling over it, kind of like?
You know, I think most people would imagine that it would be like that, but after a year of it, you're actually at a perfect point where you're just like, okay, you know what? This is an amazing opportunity and experience for 1 year, but I am so excited and ready to take the next step in my life and move on to whatever opportunities come as of a result of this. So I was actually really excited, and I think to be on the backside of it this time around and not have to stress out and be nervous and worried about, oh my God, what's going to happen, it was such a relief. I said, oh my God, I can't wait to see the reaction of the next girl that gets to take this duty on. So I was actually really happy to give it to her.
Now, I'm sure with this title, as many of us do not know, I'm sure that there are things that come along with this crown. So can you tell us a little bit about maybe the responsibilities, expectations? Are there rules? Like, what goes along with this besides just looking beautiful with a beautiful crown?
Yeah, absolutely. So the next morning, I won on a Sunday, and I actually was flown to Manhattan the next morning. You're not able to go back home from wherever you are. So if I was from California or Kansas, you have to fly directly to Manhattan the next day, where you live for the entire year. And you live with Miss Universe in a Manhattan apartment, which is amazing. But again, if you're not familiar with Manhattan, it's quite the city to be just dropped into the next day after you're still in traumatizing shock about the fact that you just won. But it's a paid salary. So I think the outlook that I had going into it was, this is a job interview, a very long and different job interview, but more or less, I mean, you're the face of their company, you're the brand of their company for an entire year. So you're paid for the job, and it entails anything from philanthropic duties. So we did a lot of volunteer work, anything from working with breast and ovarian cancer. I was working with kids that have grown up in alcohol and substance abuse homes. We do a lot of really wonderful things with kids in hospitals, and it just really gives you a different perspective on life when you get to work with these people, like wounded warriors and things like that.
Wow.
And then, of course, there's the glamorous side. So we go to galas, and we go to movie premieres and have the opportunity to meet some amazing people. But that's the thing about living in Manhattan, is you get to just see so many new and cool opportunities. So it's a lot of hard work. It's a 7-day-a-week, 365-day job, which is, you know, you get some time to yourself, but you have to realize that everything you do is more or less being watched, and people follow your journey on social media, and there isn't a lot of privacy. So you just have to make sure that you're aware of that going into it, because heaven forbid you do something that you wouldn't want somebody to see. Everything gets caught on tape or pictures.
Yeah, there's so many eyes on you that you really can't slip up. You know, you don't want to make a mistake, because you hear about some of these, you know, Miss USA or pageant winners that end up doing something, or, you know, and it's like it ends up becoming this huge spectacle.
Exactly. And I mean, of course, if that's the image that you're looking for, which for some people, being a YouTube sensation is quite an honor. So I am speaking solely for myself, but yeah, it definitely is something you have to keep in mind throughout your year.
So to just backtrack a little bit, when did you decide that you want to pursue this? And you know, for those listeners out there, what are some steps that you have to take? And are there agencies? I mean, how do you go about doing this?
Yeah, so I mean, there's what I did was I started two years before I won Miss USA. So 2010 is when I first competed. I lied, 2011. And I just signed up. I looked up the Miss Universe organization and what they represented, and I really loved their whole image about empowering women and just, the ability to really showcase your personality and who you are as an individual. So I actually went and signed up for the Miss Connecticut USA pageant, which, as you know, Connecticut isn't really a huge pageant state, so it really varies depending on what state that you are living in as to how many women that you're competing with. But the first year that I ran, I came first runner-up. We competed around with like 50 or so women, and I went back a second time around and competed against, I think it was 63 women, including myself.
And how old were you then?
I'm sorry, that?
How old were you?
23 for my first, and then 24, turning 25.
Okay.
So, I mean, the age range to compete for Miss USA is 19 to 27, so it's really a huge age difference. I mean, I feel people are at such different places in their life between ages of 19 and 27. For me, it worked out to be a little bit older because I did look at it from the perspective of, okay, this is a job opportunity. At the time, I was working for Prudential in Hartford, so I interviewed, I believe, with 15 people to get the job that I had at Prudential. And that's part of it. I mean, it's being able to, like, take it in as a job and being able to speak and, communicate with people. So I feel like that was really an advantage point for me, being that I was a little bit older and I had that experience under my belt. But I honestly never did like coaching or anything when I did my first pageant, and I think what worked for me was the fact that it was such a natural thing. I don't think people looked at me as, okay, she looks as if she's been groomed to be somebody. I think people really like that you're relatable and you have a certain spark about you that people can connect with, and I think that really kind of separates you from other people that may have done it for a significant amount of time. But I think it really depends on the person. For me, it just worked to just kind of go out there and do my own thing because I really didn't have any expectations, so I was able to just really enjoy myself and have fun. And I think that really is showcased when you're on stage, and people can see that.
Absolutely.
And I think you forgot about the prerequisite of being a fox.
Oh, thanks. I mean, I think it's it's really funny to see like how many different types of women and all heights and sizes and how confident each person is. I think that's the beauty of it. Really, is like every single woman has their own ability to really showcase themselves like in the best light. I think that's the coolest part, like especially with when you choose your evening gown, let's say, just to showcase your personality. Because some people, they've got these big, dramatic, like mermaid-style gowns with feathers, and you're just like, wow, girl, like good for you. I could never wear that. But it's just really cool to see how people showcase their personalities.
Nice. Now, since giving up the crown, you've moved back to Connecticut, which is awesome. We're glad to have you back here in our state. And you've been busy. We've seen you on the news. You've been doing a bit of this, a bit of that, right? You've been filling in as what are you doing? The weather, the traffic?
The traffic, yeah. NBC Connecticut had approached me about 2 weeks after giving up the crown about possibly coming in and starting to do a little traffic reporting, and then hopefully just getting my foot in the door. Ideally, I'd love to have like my own show or be like a really successful anchor. So I think it was just such an awesome opportunity that came about for me, and especially being from Connecticut, it was even better because I feel people know me here. It's a very competitive market in Manhattan, and specifically that I had no experience. My degree's in finance. I was working in a cube for 60 hours a week, so it's just all very new for me, but I was so tickled that they were able to say, oh, you know what, we think that this would be a really great place for you. So this was my first, like, full week. I was kind of doing, 4 days and then a week off because I was going back and forth in New York. So it's nice, and now I'm starting out and hopefully taking it to something a little bigger. So I'm excited, and it's good to be home.
Absolutely, and I'm sure there's a giant trust factor when people find out that you are from Connecticut and you have done what you have and all your accomplishments, and to get you back in our hometown and kind of have you as ours, and that has to be just kind of a big ego boost for you, but as well as for us, I would say, just to keep you here and not lose you out there in the fame. And I think that's always great to come back to where you're from. So
I agree. I love Connecticut. I love driving. I know it sounds so stupid, but I miss having a car and having that freedom to come and go as I pleased. And that's the beauty of being so close to Boston or Manhattan or wherever. Connecticut is such a great location where you could be in any of those places in 2 hours. So it's really nice to be able to come back and have all my friends and family that have known me for so long and see, what my career is doing now. It's really a great place to be in.
So would you say that's basically what your 5-year plan is to be something, whether if it's a talk show host or a news anchor, that's the 5-year plan for you?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I really do still love the business side of things. So ideally, I would really love to be able to maybe work with like MSNBC or CNN and kind of get that finance and working in the public eye, kind of incorporating both. But again, being able to just start from the bottom and working my way up, I think it allows me to really learn and to grow as a person, because it's really not easy. My hours, I'm up at 2 a.m. every morning, and I have to be into work at 3:30 a.m. So, I mean, your brain doesn't function that well at that hour of the morning. So it's total life, a life change. And I think ideally that's what I'd love to do, is whether it's my own show or not, I'd love to just kind of incorporate the business side of things with being in front of the camera, because I think I love the fact that you can have intelligent women that know business or whatever their niche may be and can get in front of people and really just like sell it and talk about it and be educated and educate other people, because
it's very empowering.
It's empowering. And I feel like, especially with finance, kind of, if you don't into finance, it's kind of a boring topic, but I think it'd be cool to kind of not dumb it down, but make it more quote unquote user friendly for everybody, maybe targeting a younger demographic of people, talking about savings or, opening up Roth IRA accounts or something like that. I think it's kind of something that's lacking, and I think it'd be really important to start something like that. So we'll see. I'm keeping my fingers crossed.
Now, let me ask you, looking back on your experience with the whole Miss USA thing, who's the coolest person that you got to meet?
That's it's so funny. I would have to say I met Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy. We went to the premiere of their movie The Heat, and I'm a big comedy person, so to be able to meet both of those women, and they are absolutely hysterical. And for me, it was kind of one of those surreal moments. It was only about a month after I had won, and I had on my schedule, you're going to a red carpet event. And not for anything, but I envisioned them literally like taking me to a hotel with like a red carpet and it just being very casual. And there I was like on a real red carpet with like paparazzi. And I was like, wait a minute. I just said in the notes, because you have a girl from Connecticut that's never been in this world, and now you've got me walking on the same carpet as Sandra Bullock and Melissa McCarthy, and I'm trying to be calm and collected. And I'm like, oh, my God, this is crazy. But I think for me, I was just really, they were so nice, as if, oh, hey, what's going on? Like, great to meet you. And I was just like, wait a minute.
I think that's hysterical that you mentioned Sandra Bullock from Miss Congeniality,
Exactly.
Like that's the first thing that popped up in my mind. But, yeah,
exactly.
That's awesome. Right.
Sandra Bullock, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah, she was really. I mean, I met like a whole range of people. I mean, I think like Trump was obviously really cool to meet, but it's just, I don't know. It was just a weird for me to be able to see somebody that I've watched their movies on. That for me was kind of my first, oh my God, pinch me moment.
Definitely. Now, if there's anything that you would like our listeners and the people of Connecticut to know, what would you like your lasting message to be before we let you go?
Yeah, no, I just want to give everyone a big thank you, because it's been such an amazing year for me, and especially now that I have this new chapter opening in my life. I just want to thank everybody for all of the immense amount of support that I've had, whether it's on my social media accounts or just people tuning in to watch me now in the mornings. It's just really, really a great feeling to know that I have backing from so many people that I may not even have ever met before, but I just feel Connecticut is such a tight-knit community, and it's just been great to have that support for the year. So just a very big thank you to everybody that supported me and watched me grow over the past year. It's really, it doesn't go without being noticed, and I really, really appreciate it.
That's great. That's great.
Amazing.
So if people want to connect with you, you are on social media, Facebook, Twitter.
Yeah. Facebook I have, I'm under Erin Brady, and then for my Twitter account, I'm official E Brady, and then if they follow Instagram, I'm official Erin Brady. So those are my accounts.
Excellent.
That's awesome. Well, Erin Brady, 2013 Miss USA. This is only the first chapter. We're looking forward to seeing what you do afterwards, and
please come back. It was an absolute pleasure.
Yes, I certainly would love to. Thank you so much for reaching out. I'm glad we got to connect, and thank you for having me on. I'm really excited.
All right, Erin. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you. Take care.